Fiction when we're not together, mistaken for a vision, something of my own creation. I wake up alone with only daylight between us. Last night the war was beneath us. Tonight comes too long. Were we torn apart by the break of day? You're more than I can believe. Whatever come my way. Fiction when we're not together, mistaken for a vision, something of my own creation. Can't realize, why do I refuse you? 'Cause if my feel's right, I risk to lose you. And if I just might wake up alone, bring on the night. Fiction when we're not together, mistaken for a vision, something of my own creation. Uncertain haze, how am I to tell? I know your face all too well. Still I wake up alone. Fiction when we're not together.
Hey, good morning.
Uh,
Not much. Been a decent Sunday and morning session, lots of setups going on. So let's crack into it. Got the just dialing back the music there. Good morning, everyone. Hope we're doing okay. Hope everyone was able to catch a little piece of the action one way or the other yesterday evening. Obviously, big global geopolitical news going on. Bit of a gap down yesterday. It wasn't as dramatic as it could have been, I didn't really think. How do you kind of see the news and the subsequent move there? It seems somewhat muted, I would say.
yeah, the opening, yeah, wasn't as extreme as I thought it might have been potentially. Even when we kind of opened, it wasn't too crazy of a gap down, and then price was kind of just hovering around for a little bit before finally putting in the first failed breakdown of 68.28, which kind of gave a little bit of just one level up, and then kind of back tested the low, swept the initial Sunday opening low at 68.11, and then that was finally a little bit more of a squeeze trigger to get some liquidity up, essentially get back up to 68.55, and then obviously we rejected there and sold off a little bit. Nice little sell overnight. So anyone that caught that 67.91 failed breakdown overnight ended up having a really good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's touch real briefly on those two setups. I'll drop down the time frame so we can kind of see. I think the first one kind of triggered with a little bit of the second type of acceptance, and then the second one, I'm just dropping down to a 2-minute here and get to the right place. yeah, you can kind of see, we obviously had a little bit of whipsaw off the open with the gap down. 68.28 was the level in yellow there. Dipped again, failed to make a lower low, returned, pushed up through the level by about 5 points, dipped to it, and then bounced. And I think a lot of us were able to get in on that bounce there. And then the subsequent one here of the opening low at 68.11. Could see as we were selling, the selling wasn't particularly steep, and it just started to slow with these two lower lows. Then we held the level exactly here at around 7 o'clock Eastern, and then again 20 minutes later, and then when we finally flushed it, something admin said in the past that kind of struck a chord with me. Sellers really should be able to flush this level with some good momentum, or they should have been able to do it here, and the fact that they weren't, just builds some confidence for taking the long. And then just pretty straightforward non-acceptance protocol entry on that one, and then we did get a nice bit of pickup in momentum and volume, and if you were watching the tape or the volume, you could see that. So it's one way of reading the increase in momentum there. So yeah, that was good. Let's get into the plan for today then, unless you wanted to mention anything else on those.
No, I think that's pretty good explanation there.
Okay, lost me. Okay, here we are, back on 15 minutes. So I think the key level today on the upside is going to be that prior week low at 68.28. Obviously, that's the level we traded off the open yesterday. And you can see how important it's been. Obviously, not only is it the prior week's low, so it was the FBD level yesterday, our significant low, but then after we reclaimed it for the second time, bounced off it exactly before flushing, and then we've since come back to it and tested it 3-4 times. So if we can lift up and bulls can get above that, that would be a good sign for them. On the downside, we've got the active fail breakdown of 67.91. This can potentially play again. I'm assuming most of us in the group aren't in that trade since it triggered overnight. But you can potentially play that again. Maybe if we hold the 82, this little low here, and that was a level, I think, from the newsletter, looking for that to hold and recover 91. That's the nice potential trigger there. And then beneath that, one level we can add to the plan is obviously the overnight low here at 69. So what's that now? It's a pretty substantial low there, 64-point low. So definitely add that one to your charts. It wasn't part of the newsletter. And then beneath that, I've also got 67.52 on my chart, which is the prior month's low. So that's the February low. So be watching beneath there if we do get a deeper flush. But for me, I've actually had 2 green trades, so I'll be super tight at this point. I'm not sure I'll even open up my platform unless we get down to 67, 69. What are your thoughts on the trade plan?
Yeah, I also, because I ended up taking 2 last night, or 2 attempts, the 28 attempt and then the sweep of 11. I'm going to be a little bit more conservative today and not try to push the button too much. So I think the best thing would obviously be if we can get down to the overnight low at 69. That's obviously a great significant low, and probably the best setup of the day that may come. We do have this little 05 level that technically could qualify as significant low, so you can watch out for failed breakdowns there. And then above us, we also have the 22 reclaim, which has been tested quite a few times now. Maybe you can watch for one more rejection there, since we're coming from a bit lower before engaging into that one. But yeah, those are really it in terms of setups. I mean, we had some really good ones last night. So, if you manage to catch them, I think it's better to be in profit protection mode and just try to play smaller size. Potentially it might be a thinner, wilder tape today. So, just want to be a little cautious with that. And you don't want to give up profits if you were profitable from last night.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly where I am. Just looking at the 05 low here, so yeah, that's a 28-point low. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm too interested in that one, to be perfectly honest, but maybe it's just the fuel we need to potentially trade that reclaim above. I do think the reclaim above looks relatively attractive. It would put a lot of shorts offside if we get above that. But yeah, like you say, it would be coming now from 25 points at least from below, so you'd probably want one more dip there before reclaiming it.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Yeah, just a reminder, just to stay focused. If fail breakdown is your strategy, avoid all the noise, avoid all the shorts, avoid getting distracted by folks posting, great wins on other things that do not concern you. Stay focused on the strategy. Don't get tempted by the lure of the short side if you are dedicated to trading the fail breakdown. Yes, you may make money, but if it's not part of your system, then it's not part of your system. Just don't do it. The potential for lost opportunity costs, on top of the mental, I think, hit, potentially taking a loss on something that isn't part of your strategy, is just not worth it. All of these sells are just fuel for the fire of the failed breakdown, and that's what we're here to focus on. So yeah, with that, cut out the noise, stay focused, and we'll catch you all in the Discord. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now. Alrighty.